Hello, my name is Harry James Taylor, and you are watching the preview to what you would guess would be like a boxing match, right? With the contender theme song going on. Well, it basically, that's what it's going to be this coming up Saturday, live from the Cotton Bowl, one of only 2 games that are annually played at a neutral site. Florida and Georgia in the cocktail party, and then the Cotton Bowl between Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River Rivalry. This thing is huge. Why is it so huge? Well, the point is that both teams are entering 0-1 in the conference. And, by the way, both heartbreaking losses in dramatic fashion. Texas just had theirs last night when they were outscored by West Virginia and Geno Smith. Oklahoma, of course, had theirs now 3 weeks ago when they played Kansas State in Norman, and Blake Bell drops the football at the 1-yard line, and all heck breaks loose. You do not want to start 0-2 already in this conference and in this division. And the only way to stop that and to make that not happen, to win this game, to get this game done. We'll break it down. I'll tell you who will be calling the games. Things you might not know. Things you might not know about the Big 12 that have to do with this rivalry. The past year scores. The biggest win for Matt. The biggest win for Bob. We'll hear what Barry has to say about the OU-Texas rivalry. Hear about the conference and divisional standings that Texas has and how they compare to OU. And the bowl record that Mac Brown has. And the goals that I think are important for each team this weekend. All this and more coming up next on the Red River Rivalry pregame show. Coming up next, only right here on Boomer Sooner, 1982 Boomer Sooner. right, welcome back to the pregame show. Now, as far as ESPN announcers are, well, first of all, you should know that the game will be on ABC national coverage. It'll be at 11 o'clock from the Cotton Bowl, so be able to get your corny dog and get in your seat before 11 o'clock. Or you can go get it after the, hopefully after an OU victory. But let's not play that card, because if you say that Oklahoma's going to win and then they don't win, Texas fans are going to get all in a tussle. And you don't want that. You don't want to upset the Texas fans. 11 a.m., ABC. There will be one of two games. This will be the first game on ABC. There will be a second game on ABC, which will be, I think, of a little bit more, I'm not going to say more of importance, but just as big of a game as Texas Tech and West Virginia face off in Lubbock. So it will be one of these two teams. The team that just recently called the Texas Tech OU victory. And that would be Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Quint Ketchnick. They called the game just recently last night for Oklahoma and Texas Tech. Or it could be the big-time team, Mike Patrick, Ed Cunningham, and Janine Edwards. They'll decide on that later on upon how they want to do that in the future. Things to know: the Oklahoma-Texas rivalry. The winner of this division, the winner of this OU-Texas Cotton Bowl, ever since the inauguration of the Big 12 in '97, the winner of this game has either won the conference or won the division every single year, except for last year in 2011, when, of course, Okie State won it with the tearing down of the goalposts, and Texas A&M in '97 and '98. That's amazing to me. Think about that for a second. That means that in '99 through 2010, either Oklahoma or Texas have been in the conference championship game. That's amazing. That's amazing. And people ask why this game is so big. That might be why. Oh, last year's score. Well, as in the words of my good old buddy Toby Rowland, the Sooners kicked down the front door of the Longhorns in Dallas as they smoked them. They had some barbecue beef on a bun on that one, and they stuck some extra JR barbecue sauce on the top, and they grilled some hamburgers just to make sure that they used enough of Bevo. 55-17. As I cannot do it as well as he did it, but as Bevo turned his back on the horns. I get a kick out of that every time. As far as biggest wins for these two teams, biggest win for Texas, in my opinion, since Stoops has come to Oklahoma, of course, was our year that, we were number one. We were supposed to be the team that did it. And if you ask me in that game, up until the Jordan Shipley return, every single play went our way. I mean, think about it. Where else do you get a pass from Sam Bradford to go to Jermaine Gresham? Gresham doesn't get a good handle on it. Just kind of taps it back in the air. And Ryan Broyles, the great Ryan Broyles, is waiting there for it and just kind of catches it just before it touches the pile tone of the end zone. That close. How Texas was able to capitalize off of that and still been able to win 45-35, that's impressive to me. That was the biggest win. As far as us, I still cannot stop laughing at the fact that we let them have it. Adrian's freshman year, we let them have it. 12-0 on the way to the national title. You shut out Texas. You shut them out. To me, that's more impressive than the 65-13 or 55-17 last year. You shut out Texas. That's pretty darn cool. All right. King me, baby! What does the King have to say about this? Our King, OU King, Barry Switzer. First of all, before I even get here to his quote that I got from SB Nation, Dallas Nation, which is a Dallas Cowboy blog site. Happy birthday, big man. Had his birthday Friday. Bob Stoops gave him a late present, by the way, with a big Texas Tech victory, which set up this game. But as far as the King's concerned, he talked with this blogger. He says, basically says, quote, this is Barry Switzer talking, says, well, I never thought that we took second seat to anybody. We kicked their butt more than they kicked ours. I beat Texas more than they beat me. And Bob, well, he's certainly doing the same thing here. I've never looked at it as being second to them. I looked at high school athletes from Texas and Oklahoma and wouldn't have the tradition if it wasn't for those high school athletes coming out of Texas that we had and now coming here. Listen, we have 200 high schools in this state that are playing football. They got 1,600. There are more athletes that are coming from, obviously, south of the Red River. So I spent time there, and I got to know those players. I couldn't agree more, Barry. That's why, as much as I would love to see more Jermaine Gresham's, Sam Bradford's, Sterling Shepard, who's now on this team, Moses Madu, Gabe Lynn, who's on this team, Ross, as much as I would love to see more of those kind of players, you cannot keep on bringing in those guys when they aren't those kind of athletes, when they aren't the Gabe Lynns, when they aren't the Gabe Eicherts, who's doing a great job at center, by the way, this year. Why? Because then you're giving somebody else the advantage, and you're Oklahoma. You have the rings. Speaking of the rings, championships and division titles for each division, for each team, since the Stoops era has begun. Texas has a couple of them. Texas has division titles in 1999, 2001, 02, 05, 08, and 09 are the division years. The official conference championship rings that they got the rings for? 05, when they played Colorado in the Reliance Stadium, and 2009. They beat Nebraska and Bo Pelini in Cowboy Stadium. By the way, notice, FYI, Texas, this does not include the 2008 version of the Texas Longhorns that beat Oklahoma 45-35. Does not include that version. That version did not play for the conference title. Oklahoma did. Speaking of Oklahoma playing for that title and the division titles that they have, Oklahoma has a couple more than Texas. Division titles first. Of course, everybody knows about the first one in 2000. He's got another one in 02, 04, 06, 07, 08, and 2010. As far as championships are concerned, he got the one in 2000. He beat Kansas State at Arrowhead Stadium. He got the one in 02. They beat Colorado in Reliance Stadium. 04, they beat Colorado in Arrowhead Stadium. 2006, they beat Nebraska in Arrowhead Stadium. 2007, Missouri fell to the Sooners in the Alamo Dome. And also in 2008, Missouri fell to the Sooners in Arrowhead Stadium. And finally in 2010, Nebraska fell to the Sooners in the final Big 12 Conference Championship title game from Cowboy Stadium. Bowl records for Mack Brown was pretty good. 0 for 1 at Tulane, but was invited. 3-2 at North Carolina. That does not include the 97 game that North Carolina did end up winning. Of course, left for Texas before that season was over. And where he is now currently at Texas, he is 9-4. The biggest win of that 9-4 record Well, there's no need to ask me about it. It was the 2005 Rose Bowl. 41-38 as the number 2 Texas Longhorns upset University of Southern California in California in the Rose Bowl. Pretty impressive. Bob Stoops in bowl games, 7-6 all-time in bowl games, all at Oklahoma. 5 that Texas won the Rose Bowl. Oklahoma didn't do too badly in their own right. They also beat a Pac-12 team in Pac-10, I should say, at that time team in Oregon, as the Sooners blame the Ducks 17-14. Bomar's first and only year at the University of Oklahoma. Finally, my goals for this team. What I think needs to happen if Oklahoma is going to play Boomer Sooner when you go get that corny dog. First thing that's got to happen, if you want to have that corny dog at the end of the game and you want to have the Longhorns buy it for you and you want to be celebrating, first thing that Landry's got to do is he has got to be patient and don't force anything. Texas's defense, it's okay. It's not great. They've given up points to OSU and West Virginia. They are vulnerable, so we don't have to take a lot of chances down the field every single play. Now, if you can score, of course you want to score. But Landry, he's got to be patient, and he can't force anything. Defensively, one thing that West Virginia didn't do, and Okie State and the other Gundy didn't do, is get to Ash and create forced turnovers. Now, creating forced turnovers. West Virginia didn't do that because their defense is putrid. I laugh at their defense. Now, they can prove me wrong, but right now I'm not impressed. As far as Okie State's concerned, they did get an interception. It was Ash's first interception late in the game. But Oklahoma, you've got to keep on doing what you're doing. You got 3 Apple turnovers last time. You've got to do that again. You got to keep getting those turnovers. Special teams, stop Goodwin! Stop him! Don't kick it to him! Please! Tress, you're a good punter. Don't kick it to Goodwin. Jimmy, you're a good kickoff specialist. Honeycutt, you're a great kickoff specialist. All you guys are. Do not kick it to this guy. And if you do, get him. Attack him. Don't be scared. Because he's a spring champion and he'll make you pay. That's why the game last weekend ended up being so close for the Longhorns. Is they kept on punting the ball and kicking the ball to Goodwin. And as far as OU is concerned, let Brown loose. Justin Brown's a good-looking punt returner. You got to create alleys for him, guys. You got to create alleys for him. Now, I know a lot of that let Brown loose is going to be because of the fact, and like I said, Tressway, do not punt to Goodwin. Texas is not going to want to punt to Justin Brown. But when they do, Oklahoma, you got to block for your guy. You got to get him open. If you do that, you should be in pretty good shape. And you should be ready for the Jayhawks of Kansas the next week. Before a game, finally, that I've been waiting for with Notre Dame. But as far as this game's concerned, this pre-show is over. I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys. I hope you guys watch my YouTube casts. Follow me on Twitter, SoonerFanOK. Find me on Facebook if you want to, Harry James Taylor. I'm not that hard to find. I love you guys for watching my YouTube casts. And as always, Boomer Sooner! I love you guys.